Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well. For those of you that are new, my name is Erica. I'm a homeschooling homemaking mama of 5. And for those of you that are returning, welcome back. So my room and my bathroom and my whole house is pretty messy. Since I've changed my filming schedule, I am not cleaning as often. So I don't know. I didn't realize, I knew I was kind of dependent upon my filming schedule to get stuff done, but now I'm like, well, I don't have to film a video, so, it's okay if I don't get to it right now. I don't understand why my mind works that way. I know I need to keep my house clean, but it's just been a little tough. So this is a really bad hot spot for me. Stuff always gets cluttered up here. When I get ready to go to work in the morning, I just go with the last minute. I wait until I don't like to sit after I've gotten ready for work. I like to just go out the door once I'm done and I'm ready. So I wait till about 30 minutes before I have to leave, before I start getting ready. It's just how I am. I don't know what it is. I found another Snoop Dogg lighter at Walmart, so I was super excited about that. I did a thing I haven't done in a while, which is I get nervous that I'm not going to find a particular item again, so I buy a whole bunch of them, and I did that with those lighters that I really like. They're the smaller candle lighters, they're bigger than the regular Bic lighter, but not as long as the fireplace lighter. They're perfect for lighting my candles with my fake nails. Well, I couldn't find them in the store, and then I couldn't find them online, so I went to Bic's website and ordered a whole bunch of them. So I have 10 of them down here in my bottom drawer, because even though I knew I would be able to find them again, and it was probably just a fluke, I guess you call it panic buying. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but that's really kind of what I did. But I had it in my mind that I had to get a whole bunch of them all at once, or I would never have them again. So that's something I haven't done in a long time. I'm using Mrs. Meyer's Acorn Spice Spray in here in my bathroom. I clean my bottom, the base, the counter first, and then I clean my mirrors, because if I get any of my cleaner on my mirror, that way I can just wipe it off. I know, obviously, I don't clean my house as often as I should, but when I like to clean my mirrors, I like them spotless. I can't stand having streaks or anything, so if any of that cleaner gets up on there, it's really hard to get off with even just even with the spray away. So I like to do it, last, the cleaning my mirrors, I mean. I've been good to keep up with actually washing laundry, but the problem is I take my laundry basket to the laundry room and then I just leave it there, so we have a huge pile of clothes in here. Now there's 2 different piles in here. The one I'm working on right now, those are clean clothes that came from my closet that fell down from those cloth shelves that I have, which I'm currently in the process of trying to find some kind of plastic drawers or something to put in there. The hanging shelves are not working in my closet at all, so I've got to do something else about that. I have done a little bit better with keeping up with the system in there, but it's still lacking, so I'm looking for something right now. Everything is so expensive though for these organizational systems, and they all just look like cheap plastic or cloth drawers, so I'm just not having it. So anyway, I went and got a load of laundry started. I really feel like a kid sometime, where I have to trick myself to get stuff done. If it weren't for my aprons, my clothes would never get washed. Okay, here's Joe's room. And I realized just how bad it was as soon as I put the camera up. This is another one of those things where I have to see it through another, a different set of eyes. I don't have an excuse for this room. Joe doesn't have an excuse for this room. It's just messy. I mean, he's a kid. Here we go. I said I have no excuse, and then I start trying to label it. So I went in here. He went in here with me. We got rid of a whole garbage bag full of stuff just to throw away. And then there were a lot of clothes that needed to just come out. So Joe does not spend a lot of time in here at all, except maybe to make a mess, I guess. And it just, I don't know. We both have I don't make him come in here at night and clean up, which is probably a big reason that this is like that. It's a big, anyway, I said I wasn't going to make excuses, and this is like the third time I've tried to do it. So the system I have for Joe's room is that I usually get everything into a pile and I let him start sorting. I usually give him a specific task that works with him. I had him go into his closet and grab one of the little totes and fill it with toy cars. So the room itself is incredibly small, and it doesn't take a lot for this room to get messy, but this is super messy anyway. Joe has a lot of toys, but we don't buy him a lot of toys. Most of them are hand-me-downs, stuff that he gets from his grandmothers, stuff his siblings give him. He loves to have his sister's old stuffed animals, or stuffies as he calls them. So I really try to work with him about knowing what's trash and what's not trash, and what we can donate and what we can, all that stuff. I know he's just 5, but I was never taught that, and I know I've talked about that on here before. It is just really important to me that it's just something that he's just always known. I'm not going to say it comes natural to a kid, but I'd almost like him to think that it's like second nature to him. That, when we have something that's broken, you just immediately throw it away. Some things can be fixed, and I think, that's important that kids know that. But, for the most part, the things that he wants to keep that are broken are not salvageable. So I thought that there was just going to be only enough trash for that little grocery bag, and it turned out no. After we got into there were some things I threw away, and I'll be honest, he didn't know I threw them away, but they were broken, and he doesn't play with them. He doesn't play with a lot of his toys. He loves his Legos and he loves his Matchbox cars, and then he goes through phases where he'll have one particular toy that he'll kind of carry around, but he just likes to be involved with people. He does watch some TV. He is really into BattleBots right now. He just discovered that show, and it is the cutest thing in the world to watch him, get into it. But his big thing is, too, he loves to be outside. He loves to play on the trampoline. That's been his big thing, too, recently. He loves it. Oh, he's showing you guys his creeper outfit and his bread slippers, or his loaves of bread. I'm not quite sure. My mother-in-law actually got them for me for Christmas, and Joe decided that they were going to be his because I have very small feet and he has very big feet. So he wears a lot of my slippers and shoes and stuff. But I don't know if I said already, his toy box is in his closet. So I was just kind of going through some of the toys and putting them in here. I had gotten really good about just throwing stuff away, and then this day in particular, I don't know, recently I've just been kind of in a funk, and I've noticed a few habits here creeping back in, and then here and there. I don't know exactly what's going on. Like, nothing's wrong. I think maybe it's a coping mechanism for when I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. We have been so busy, and I'm not complaining. Everything's good. It's nothing bad, but it's just I think sometimes I have a hard time handling how busy things are. Again, that doesn't, I don't feel like any of that's coming out right, but I think y'all know it's like, even when you have 1,000 good things, if they're all coming at you at once, it's a little hard to really appreciate it and be grateful for it. And I guess that's just kind of what's going on at the moment. And Jeremy started his job, and he seems like he's gonna like it. I've been working a little bit more at work, and the kids have been doing school. And then Joe has football, which I know I've said this before, but 4 nights a week. And then we have church on Wednesday night. And then now Joe has football on Sunday. So we only have one night of the week where we don't have something that we have to do, but there's usually work, or the kids have, something going on at church, or something that they're doing with their friends. And I know that's just life, and that, it's fine, and it'll all zoom by, and eventually I won't have the kids here to have all these things to do with them, and I'll miss it. But in the moment, sometimes it just, it does get a little chaotic, and I think maybe that's what's going on right now. But I feel bad that I feel bad about it. Like, I feel like I'm not grateful. Does that make any sense? Do you guys understand? It's like, why am I kind of in the dumps when everything's going great? And it's like, it makes me feel ungrateful, so that it's like a vicious cycle. Then I feel bad for feeling bad. I'm sure. Okay, I want to stop, do a little chit chat about Joe's room. I know there's a lot of, I have it on my channel, but a lot of other people, when they see Joe, when we talked about interrupting. Mommy said she'd give you a chance to talk. So there's a lot of people are, I don't know how to politely say it. So when you see a kid's messy room, and I'm guilty of this too, I'm quick to judge, and I know I shouldn't, and I'm really working on it, and it's something that I need to be put in my place about. So I try to put myself in my place, and I got that right now with Joe's room. When I opened the door, well, honestly, the door was already open. I already knew it was a mess. It was a disaster in here. We haven't been in here. He hasn't been in here, except obviously to make a mess. We've been incredibly busy. But if I didn't know the circumstances, I'd be quick to, assume, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves, la, 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 la. And I don't think that's the case when you get down to the details. And most people, I think that's the circumstance. We're all, well, I am anyway. I'm speaking for it's something I'm really trying to work on. So I think one of the big issues that people get, Joe Thomas, no, you may talk when it is your turn. So we're working on interrupting y'all. It's not going very well. So one of the big things that I've noticed on YouTube and a lot of things is people tend to go one way or the other. And it's, your kids just need to take care of that. They need to know better. They need to just throw it away. They need to do that. And I do agree with that to a point. But then there's other people that are like, no, kids should express themselves. It can be a traumatic experience to throw stuff away. You should let them work on it on their own time. We should do this. We should do, let them, loving, kind of passive way almost maybe. And I'm trying to, I'll be honest, I tend to go towards the suck it up, throw it away. You don't need to deal with that. Just deal with it, get rid of it. That type of mentality. I'm really trying to be in the middle because I want to be that parent that is more loving and more caring and more understanding. But if we're going to be completely honest, most of the time, no, I'm a suck it up. You need to get over it. You need to learn to deal with it right now type of person. I don't think that's healthy. So what I was thinking about just now was, I think that some people feel that we should cater to every emotional need that our children have. And that they shouldn't have, any type of experience where they feel overwhelmed or feel stressed or anything like that. I don't necessarily agree with that. However, because I think that if you don't ever have a kid in a somewhat organized or stressful situation, they'll never learn how to properly cope. But I do think that if you can give your child a positive experience and it be, like cleaning, if you can make it a fun experience for your kid, you should always have the opportunity. If you can make that a learning experience good and fun and enjoyable, then you should. You shouldn't always cater to them because they do have to learn sometimes to make the tough choices, which is with Joe, I'm trying to teach him to declutter on his own and to know the difference between trash, what needs to go on, what we play with. I'm really trying to help him know the difference. Make it fun, make it enjoyable. Joe Thomas, honey, mommy's talking. Turn it off. Alexa, off, please. In a second. So I'm trying to make it a fun, enjoyable experience while he learns something at the same time. But if it comes to a tough decision, I don't want him to think that there's always going to be somebody there to walk him through it, that he's got to learn to help walk himself through it. To a point, y'all. He's 5. So Joe, which I'm gonna let him talk now, I want him to tell you about the decision he just made about his walkie-talkie that he wanted to throw. Did you want to donate or throw it away?
Donate it.
All right, well, tell him what you decided about the walkie-talkie. Why did you want to get rid of it?
So somebody else, if they have another walkie-talkie, they can talk to it.
Why aren't you keeping it?
Because I already have the other 2 that I can't find.
You can't find the other one. Okay, well, now listen. Mommy doesn't want you to be confused. We threw the walkie-talkie away. We're not donating it. We're throwing it away because it doesn't have a walkie-talkie, another matching one, right?
Oh, you don't need another matching one. You just need another different colored one.
Well, this one's broken, though. The one that you decided to get rid of, it's broken. So we can't donate it if it's broken, right?
Okay.
So you're okay with it? It's going to go in the trash?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joe knows that his walkie-talkie that he decided on.
My costume for Halloween today. It's a creeper from Minecraft. But yes. Creepers in Minecraft do not actually have arms. This is just my costume.
Okay. So anyway, those were my thoughts on cleaning and kids and everything else. To sum it up, if I didn't make myself clear, because I really worry that sometimes I don't come across the way I mean to. I think that there needs to be a in between catering to our children's emotional needs to a point, but that there also does need to be a little bit of the tough love in there, just a little bit of a push for your child to make the decisions on their own. I think we need to really, because they're kids. If they didn't need us, then what's the point? I think there's a lot of adults that just need to hear suck it up and move on, but I think with kids, you do have to keep in mind their minds are developing, their emotional needs are developing. You have to learn, but the most important thing is to teach them how to make those decisions on their own. And sometimes there are tough decisions that we have to make in the heat of the moment. So I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. But, if you have the opportunity to make any experience for your child, any experience pleasant, you should. And I'll be honest, I'm still trying to work on that. I didn't do so well with my older kids, but I'm learning as I go. And maybe by the time I have great grandkids, I'll have it down. All right. So we stopped. I took a 20-minute break, and that was another thing. I'm starting to get really irritated and agitated, and I felt myself snapping and everything else. So
back to the cleaning.
I set a timer for 20 minutes because I need to go do some homeschool. Joe, I'm talking, honey. I'll let you tell that in a minute, okay? I'll let you do your little signature thing. So we'll do in 20 minutes. I clean for 20 minutes, turn the timer off, I stop, and I'll come back to it here when I've not gotten so irritated. All right, Joe, now you can tell them.
Now back to the cleaning.
There you go. All right, y'all. So this is much later in the day. I took a longer break than I meant to, but I really struggled with putting that intro or that little section in there about me talking because I really worry that I don't come across the way that I'm meaning to, and I don't want somebody to be offended. So, but I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. I've put my messes out here and everything else, and if, I can always clarify if somebody doesn't understand what I'm saying. So, but yeah, so I did. It was a little unclear though on what I meant by my 20 minutes. I started a 20-minute timer to clean in Joe's room, and then that way it sets boundaries for me, and I can get a lot done and be okay with it. If I don't set a timer, then I have really no idea how long I've been in there. And I've noticed myself getting kind of crabby and cranky with Joe, and I didn't want him to be upset and associate this with a bad time. So I just had to know my own limits, my own boundaries. This thing right here, I cannot stand it, y'all. Joe wanted it back up, but I think this is probably the last time it's going to go up. We've had several of these in the house. I bought two of them for my boys when they were sharing a room, so they had a little bit of privacy, but they don't stay on very long, and the little hooks that you attach it to are about worn off. So I'd like to get in here and paint Joe's room and put the trim up on the wall because we still have not done that. But I'm almost wondering if painting it might be a little pointless because he draws all over his walls. I don't let him, and I do, kind of fuss at him when he does do it, so it's not something he's allowed to, but it still happens. So this is just a little bit of the leftover stuff. Again, I sweep it into a pile for myself too, so I can kind of just sort through all of it. And then most of it's going to go into the closet, into his toy box, and that's where most of his toys stay. So I just kind of skipped the footage of me cleaning out the closet because you can't see in there. There's not a light in there either, which makes me think that this room... Yeah, well, Joe says its light broke, but he actually never had a light in there. I think this closet may have been added on into this room, and it was just originally meant to be an office, but I'm not quite sure. There are a lot of things in this house we don't really quite understand. Yeah, we don't understand why we're there. So Jojo just woke up. I'm filming this right before I go to work, y'all. I wanted to make sure I got my voiceover in time so I can listen. And Joe just woke up, so he's in here keeping me company. Joe got into some red paint, so you'll see quite a bit of that on the floor. And then this sticker thing, the little road, needs to come up. It doesn't look as bad in the video, but it's like starting to get worn out and stuff. And he really doesn't play with it anyway. He loves his Matchbox cars, but when he plays with them, it's usually in a different way. Like he likes to line them up, which I think a lot of kids do that. Like just sort of line them up and sort them out on the table. But yep, so we're gonna probably have to pull that up too.
This morning I'm gonna play with.
This is where I realized the little grocery bag wasn't going to cut it, so I went and got one of my big ones.
And used it for a trash bag.
Yeah.
And it was on the side of my door.
I would be really interested in the psychology behind this right here. I don't normally sort like this. I'd been really well to just sweep it up and throw it away, but for whatever reason, like I could not sort through these little teeny piles. And it makes me feel better when I go through it, and I don't understand why it makes me feel better. So maybe that's something I need to talk to my therapist about. I'm not even joking. Like there's a lot of things that I feel like I'm self-aware about, but then I have little habits like these, and I don't know what I'm getting from them, like what the deeper meaning is. Maybe there's not a deeper meaning. Maybe I'm just looking too into it. But this is the final result. These are all the things, the clothes and stuff that came out of the room that were on the floor. And that was the bag of trash. And this may not be perfect, but it is so much better. So we had Joe's little book bags. It's got his books and stuff in there. And, like I said, that's the paint that needs to come up. And I need to it's not any big paint. It's just those little ones that you get in the tubes at Walmart for like crafts and stuff. Joe loves to paint, but so now here we are in my room, and it's usually about this messy. It doesn't take long to clean up. This day in particular, though, it seemed like I had just enough extra clutter that it made it feel long. I don't know. Maybe I just was in a mood. Apparently that's my theme. I'm always in a mood. It's just Russian roulette with what mood it is. So I made the bed, but y'all know what that means. That means I'm getting ready to do a ridiculous amount of laundry, which I've been letting it go again, y'all. Well, I don't think I ever stopped letting it go. It gets clean, but it sits on my floor in the laundry room. You mamas that work and keep your house clean, I guess my question is, and dads, sorry, Joe. Yes, thank you, Joe, for pointing that out. Yes, moms and dads that keep your house clean and work full time and you have kids in your house. How do you, what's some advice you can offer? I know there's a lot of things that I need to just do regardless of whether I feel tired or not, but I don't know. I keep thinking, well, if I just get this in place, if I just get this done, that the house, it'll all fall into place. And it's been 4 months, y'all, that I've been back at work, and it's not falling in place. It's like dangling like a booger. So yeah, I don't know. So sweeping stuff into piles isn't a system that I just use for Joe's room. I do it for mine as well. I do better with sorting through a big pile like that. I left Joe's cleats behind that chair just so they would stay there. Usually when it's time for football, we're in a rush and we're trying to find everything. And it does better if I can see it in my room. So and Joe came in here to pick out his toys. It's usually Joe. I tell him, come get it up off the floor. It's going in the trash. So I'm curious to know, what is the one children's item that you have no sympathy for and that you could easily do without and not feel the slightest remorse about your child not having? Mine would be stickers. I don't care if my kids have stickers or not. I cannot stand stickers. They are inside of my car now. Joe stuck them all in the window. He stuck them in here on the floor, and I cannot stand stickers. that is one of those things that if he never had them, I wouldn't feel like he was missing out on childhood. So I'm sure everybody's got to have one toy like that they're like, oh, please, if my child never sees that, I will be perfectly content. Y'all, this is another habit that's creeping back in, is the laundry baskets piling up. So I'm just going to stop putting stuff in them, I guess. That's the only way I know to do it. But I used to be terrible about it. But I was bad about it when I was staying at home and not working. So it's not that I can blame it on being busy. I mean, I can blame everything in the house on being busy. But ultimately, that's really not an excuse for me. Because yesterday I was off and I spent the majority of the day in bed, just trying to decide whether I was going to take a nap or not. And it's not that I didn't deserve it, because y'all, I've had no problem with it as far as that, but I have all these plans to be productive, and then when the actual day comes, I'm like, So I did have the time. I just didn't. Now, I did clean Joe's room, but, I still spent the most of the time just sitting on my butt. So here are about 6 loads of laundry that needed folded because my husband had to go to work the next day, and he needed clean clothes, and they were clean, and he's not too good to go in there and just get them himself, but I just decided to go ahead and fold them. He did offer to fold them, but I said I wanted to film it, and he wasn't too tickled about being on film, so that's why I did it on my own. He will help me with whatever I need him to. So if that's the thought that y'all are wondering, please know he does help me with whatever I need, and he does real well to keep the house clean and stuff and get the kids going, and he does his fair share too. But you don't see him on here a lot, or my other kids, because most of the time they are a little camera shy. Yeah, except for Joe. Y'all know he is not shy. So this video, I think, is starting to wind down a little bit. I'm not quite sure what kind of video I'm going to have out for y'all on Monday. I'm going to try to get a clean with me video, but it is possible it might be my West Virginia hauler video, depending on how the rest of the week goes. I work on Thursday this week, which is the day you guys are seeing it, and then we're leaving Friday morning to go for our big trip for Project Appalachia. So we'll see. I'll have something for y'all Monday, one way or the other. I just don't know what it is. Joe's wanting to go with me, but he gets to go see his Momma and his cousin. So I hope wherever y'all are at, you are having a blessed one. And thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video and just to see what's going on. You guys are you're absolutely wonderful. It means the world to me. And, I hope I didn't make it seem like my videos were stressing me out or overwhelming me. I'm so thankful for this. This is my outlet. This is, my hobby, my thing for myself that I do that makes me happy. So thank you guys so much for being a part of it. All right, so I hope wherever y'all are at, y'all are having a blessed one. I know I've already said that, but I also said before, you can never be blessed too many times. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
That's all.